Yo, what's poppin', everyone? You got your coach of the Chim Chargers here today with our week 3 battle of the WBE, and we're currently 2-0 right now in the league. So if you haven't seen our first 2 weeks, be sure to check them out, of course. Pretty great games overall. And now we're going to be taking on my boy Mewtwo fan Nate, coach of the New York Noibats. And we have faced each other a couple of times before, I think, in previous leagues. And he's brought some pretty fun sets overall. So I'm excited to see what he ends up bringing this time. But as you can see, he has a team of Cloyster, Swellow, Delphox, Chestnut, Sylveon, and Lucario. So he didn't bring his Mega Pokemon, and he also, another thing that I noticed upon team preview is that he did not bring a Stealth Rocker. So that's nice. I don't have to worry too much about taking that 25% from rocks on certain mons like Victini, so that's pretty good. Though, however, he does have some potential spikers in Cloyster as well as Chestnut. If Cloyster's not a Shell Smash user, it probably might have spikes. Same thing for Chestnut. If it's not like an offensive sub belly drum set, which I've seen before in the past, it could just be a defensive spiking set. So those are some mons that, Rotom that we have on our team, which does possess Defog, can be very useful in. And he does have a bunch of threats. So like for instance, Lucario is a huge threat, very versatile mon, has the ability to set up Swords Dance or Agility or even like Nasty Plot as well. So he can run some really like versatile threatening sets with Lucario, so we gotta watch out for that. Delphox I think can combine and do a bunch of stuff as well, so we gotta watch out for that. And Cloyster, which is a Shell Smash user, that's another big threat on his team. Like overall, his main roster had just had a lot of threats, so I figured that bringing something like Scarf Victini, which I do have on my team, Scarf Victini I think can definitely put in a lot of work. It pressures him offensively and outruns a lot of his teams, so I think Scarf Victini is perfect for this matchup. With like Choice Scarf V-Create and stuff, does not have a lot of switch-ins for it, especially for this team that he brought here. And then I also have another Choice Scarf user in Scarf Ditto. Scarf Ditto I think is nice as well because he had a bunch of setup sweepers that do not appreciate Scarf Ditto. So something like Shell Smash Cloyster or Swords Dance or Nasty Plot Lucario and stuff like that, like I think that Scarf Ditto will give him a lot of trouble for his team. I guess sort of preventing him from setting up. I brought Emvee Azu because it can help me versus Delphox as well as maybe also Sylveon, maybe also Nasty Plot Lucario, Spec Swellow, things like that. It can definitely check a lot of mons on his team. So I brought that Pokemon, of course. Then I have Registeel, which is great versus Cloyster and Swellow and things like that, as well as Sylveon. So just a great switch into mons, has Stealth Rocks as well. Rotom, which is my defogger, like I said before, which can it can also check, I guess, Lucario because it resists both of its stab moves. It's also immune to its fighting type moves, but it has to watch out for the dark type coverage. And finally, Mega Sceptile, which I think is also pretty good versus him because of its speed tier and nice coverage overall. So I figured my best lead would be the Victini just because it pressures him offensively. Like I said, he doesn't really have a lot of switch-ins, and Victini is going to be faster than basically everything on his team because I'm Choice Scarf, bar like a Choice Scarf Swellow, but I don't think he'd bring that. And yeah, so I figured that he might decide to lead with something along the lines of maybe either Swellow or Cloyster, I think, are one of his 2 potential leads. So Scarf Victini, great mon overall versus both of those even. So let's just go ahead and get right into this match and see how it goes. And let's just get right into it for week 3 of the WBE. As you can see, Nate decides to challenge me, and this of course may or may not be his first mistake. We'll find out. Now he leads off with the Cloyster as I lead up with the Victini, so I got the lead matchup kind of correct here. Now I know that for a fact I cannot knock him out with one hit, so I'm going to go for the U-turn here. U-turn will give him chip damage, maybe break a potential Focus Sash that the Cloyster might have. And I can go into my Rotom here because if he Shell Smashes, I can easily switch to Registeel. If he is a Spikes set, which he does reveal to be, then Rotom can just defog, and Rotom has a great matchup versus some kind of Spikes lead set. So that's nice. He goes right for the liquidation as I click defog, get rid of the spikes from my side because I don't want any kind of hazard on my field. So I can fire off the Will-O-Wisp on the next turn, burn this thing so that his physical attacks will be halved as he tries to set up another spike. And this is beautiful because now I can easily spam defog as he clicks spikes. Even though I have less PP than his spikes, I can ensure that there's nothing going to be on my side and he gets chipped by burn. So I'm going to defog as he actually instead switches out into Sylveon instead of clicking spikes over and over. So Sylveon is in. I'm just going to go for the full switch here. I am faster, so this does let me know that this thing is a defensive set just by the damage output. And I can go into my Registeel potentially to take a Hyper Voice, but he goes right for the Baton Pass. And so I'm like, okay, this is a Sylveon I'm quite familiar with him bringing. So he's going to go here into Chestnut as I'm going to just switch right back into my Rotom, my nice Hacks noob out here. And he goes right for the low kick, so it does not affect me. I switch into the ghost type Pokemon to take that. So predicting his switch out of Chestnut, not wanting to take a Will-O-Wisp, I go right for the Volt switch. And so I'm now with the upper hand in momentum. So gonna go into my Victini. I know for a fact that Victini is gonna pressure him a lot because Sylveon does not want to take this V-Create at all. It probably has nothing to hit Victini back with. So he's actually going to go Cloyster here. I'm guessing maybe he wants to sack this Cloyster. So going to go for the V-Create, and this actually doesn't do as much as I thought it would. Very defensive Cloyster. So probably invested in some HP there. Now he actually, on this turn, goes for the Custap Berry. I didn't want to risk it, so I ended up switching out here into my Rotom just in case of any kind of situation where I'd be slower. But he actually had the Custap Berry go to the Liquidation, gets a crit on my Rotom, even though probably Victini would not have taken the damage or would not have gotten knocked out there. I just went Rotom in case he clicked Spike or had some kind of tech like that, for instance. And he went for Ice Shard, got a crit there as I Volt Switch out, knocking out the Cloyster, so that's nice. And then I get to go back into my Victini here. So Victini is back, basically the turn 1 scenario, just -1 Pokemon on his side. So now we go Swellow. Was a little bit confused about this. Maybe he didn't expect the Scarf, but the Scarf V-Create is going to come through and just knock out the Swellow in one hit. So that is pretty beautiful right there. He will get his Swellow knocked out, and he's going to go here into his Delphox. So I'm like, okay, Delphox is in. I can go into my Azumarill, which is a Pokemon that can take its fire type attacks, any attack really well because I'm AV, right? But he goes to the Trick Room, and the one thing that I teach you all, the one thing that I try to teach all my opponents, including showing you guys, never bring Trick Room to the Trick House, okay? Look at this, Liquidation is gonna go, he sets up Trick Room for my Azu. My Azu is obviously slower, and yeah, so I knock out this Delphox in one hit. Then he brings in Chestnut. My Azu is obviously going to be slower than that or outrun it in the Trick Room. I'm going to do a massive damage to the Chestnut with this Play Rough as he goes for the Poison Jab here. Poison Jab doing maybe a little over 50%. Not bad at all. Maybe he thought I was Sap Sipper, so he didn't go for the Grass move. But Play Rough again to knock out the Chestnut here, right? So that's cool. And now he's going to bring in his Sylveon. So he's got 2 Mons left at this point in time. He's got 2 Mons left. He's going to bring in Sylveon here. He's going to go for the Hyper Voice. Of course, you know, us being Assault Vest, we're going to have that Endurance to take the hit and go right for the Liquidation. So that's pretty nice. And Trick Room wears off at this point in time, which means that we are going to be faster on this turn. So we can go ahead and click Liquidation to knock out the Sylveon. So that's going to be cool. And then finally, I think he's going to bring in the Lucario. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I don't think he's going to click a fighting move here because I have a Rotom in the back. I'm going to go Ditto and figure out what his set is. And when Ditto copies Lucario, I find out that his set is actually 4 attacks. So it's not a Swords Dance set. It's actually Crunch, Close Combat, a Steel move, and an Extreme Speed, I think. So we are able to take the Crunch, which he probably was predicting the Rotom for, use his own Lucario in Ditto form to outrun and knock out his Lucario. So that is going to be GG. It is Emvee. And a clean 6-0 win with week 3 of the WBE. So yeah, really solid game overall. I think the differential points will definitely put us in the lead, I think, or hopefully bring us up a lot in terms of this this race to playoffs. And yeah, really nice and solid game overall. GG to Nate, of course. I mean, I think overall, just like the matchup that we had, we really just sort of won by the matchup, but also sort of, I guess, our plays as well. I think the matchup mainly, though. We had a really solid team versus him, and yeah, I think we just put in a lot of work with our mods. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this this game. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, I think we had a pretty solid 3 weeks so far, and if you guys want, I think there's been a couple people asking me for Chim Chargers shirts, and they're actually in the WBE shop, or I think it's the whatever the shop is that they use. I'll link it in the description, or I'll I guess post a picture or whatever, maybe, but we'll see. Yeah, but if you want to get a Chim Charger shirt, support the team, you know, feel free to do that. I do appreciate it. But other than that, yeah. So pretty cool game where we used our team to beat sort of a more offensive style team. I was a little bit worried about Lucario, but 4 attacks, you know. I think like he told me after the game, his strategy was to use Sylveon. It apparently had like it had Curse on the Sylveon apparently, to baton pass into Delphox with Electrium Z Thunder Punch with Cursed up, you know, under Trick Room. So I think that was the strategy overall. But I don't think I could ever pull that off. But yeah, that was pretty heat just to hear his idea. But yeah, that's gonna be it. So be sure to check him out. He's a good friend of mine, and that's gonna be that. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video, and be sure actually to check out the Farfetch'd live, the Farfetch'd OU live that I uploaded yesterday. That was a pretty heat video. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. I brought Farfetch'd into the OU tier. But yeah, so I'll see you guys on the next one. Probably upload another showdown live soon. And yeah, peace.